Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Intuitive Soul Rising. I'm Rachel Sawani and I'm here today with another channeled message and energy update. This one is for January 2022. Before I give an energy update, I always like to invite a guide or being of the highest love and light who would like to share a message with us today of what we need to pay attention to or be aware of as the energies are shifting and changing throughout this month. And today I was clearly connecting with Morya. I did some automatic writing and he was the first person that came in, and also he was coming in with the collective energy of the Galactic Council of Light. I did get some Pleiadian energy coming in as well, so I thought it was interesting that there was more of a group of beings coming in, but I did clearly hear Morya was with them. And just to double confirm that, I asked for confirmation or clarity from my deck of cards, the Keepers of the Light deck, which Morya is in. And as I shuffled the card, believe it or not, Morya flew right on out. So that's just double confirmation for me. And that's one of the ways I even double check myself sometimes when I'm not sure if I'm hearing a guide correctly. Sometimes I'll channel and I'll start to feel the vibration of many different beings coming forward, and I just want to fine tune which being is presenting themselves more forwardly than the others. So Morya is on the blue ray, and I'll show a picture of him on my screen. This picture is from the Keepers of the Light deck by Kyle Gray, and it does give a little information on who Morya is. He did have an earthly incarnation in the Indian region of India, and he's considered an ascended master and a spiritual guide who can help us come more in alignment with our I am presence and just help us through the awakening process. So as I was saying, he is part of the blue ray, and there are many beings associated with this ray, Mother Mary being one of them. So I did also hear Mother Mary was around. It's interesting how there's a collective of energies. I also associate the Pleiadians with the blue ray, so it's interesting how a lot of beings come through on a certain color of frequency and light. And they're all really working together. I'm kind of receiving right now for the collective consciousness through bringing in the Christ light, the Christ consciousness, which is really just us being more awake and aware to who we are as divine beings of love and light, how we are connected to Source as creator beings, and how we can use the power of love to align with that creative potential. All right, so I'm going to allow all beings who would like to share this message, although I do can already see Morya kind of standing more forward, but he is showing me there is a collective white light behind him. There are a collective group of beings, and he's showing them to be the Galactic Council of Light or part of the Galactic Council of Light. And he's emphasizing Pleiadians as well. There's a strong Pleiadian energy with him and around him, and they are wishing to step forward to share a message. So, but he's saying he would like to start. So I'm going to, let's hear what Morya has to share about the energies of January 2022. Right away, he's highlighting being on a ride. It's a ride of consciousness. It's a roller coaster of consciousness and awareness, growing our awareness towards higher heights. So reaching higher heights. So he's showing as if you're on a roller coaster and you're slowly going up, 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 up. He's saying the peaks are getting higher. And he's referencing the valleys, and the valleys are getting lower, but he's saying that this is more just an analogy for the depth and distance of which we have traveled through our consciousness. And he's talking about collectively through time. So he's talking about us as a collective, have traveled many distances, have reached many heights and distances, peaks and valleys. We've overcome many shadow aspects of ourselves to find our way back to the light. And he's showing us as if we are in the clouds where the light is kind of shining down through. We are up into the clouds now. We have reached heaven now. We have brought heaven down into earth. That is what we are actively co-creating at this moment through our conscious awareness, through our growing our consciousness, through our efforts to do that. We are not only reaching heaven, reaching new heights that are in heaven, but we are bringing those lights, the light of heaven or the truth of heaven down to earth. So he's showing it as we are connecting the dots, we are creating the outline as bringers of the dawn, he's saying, and that is a reference to the Pleiadians. He's referencing the Pleiadians right now. We are serving as bringers of the dawn, bringers of the light. And I feel the Pleiadians stepping forward. I do feel Ashtar Command kind of serving as an ambassador for the Council of Light, the Galactic Council of Light or Pleiadian Council. He's saying Galactic Council, which Pleiadians are a part of, and as are many other star races. So this is my first time channeling this at the council, so he's aware of that. So he's stepping forward as an ambassador, so I can feel confident that I'm connecting. I have a direct connection, and that they do indeed want to step forward. And he's just showing me how he's reaffirming in my mind how I had a communication earlier through my own channeling for myself that there was going to be open lines of communication to the galactic realms, and that they were going to want to step forward. So they're showing that this is that one of those moments that they're wanting to come in and connect. And they're showing the blue ray as well as being part of the Christ consciousness. So they're talking about January and the highlights for January. They're showing moving ahead, forging ahead. They're showing activations for the warrior codes of light within. They're showing many of us picking up our shields of protection and shielding any negative energy that might be attempting to kind of override or hijack our system, our energy system, he's saying. That these shields of protection are our connection to the Brotherhood, to the Galactic Council of Light. They're representative of our connection and how we are protected by their light, by the light that they are shining onto our planet and helping to raise consciousness as they do that. But they're saying that we are essentially playing our part in holding the light. So they are commending us for our work so far as light workers in the community, as growing the light, sustaining the light, and holding the frequency, the vibration of light and love high, so that more lights can turn on, so that we can power these lights almost like a solar panel would power a battery. We are essentially serving as the solar panels. We are reflecting the light that is already shining down through the ascension waves, through the solar flares, through the light that's coming from the galactic realms. And we are essentially recharging our own batteries and helping to, he's showing it as if we're storing extra power in our batteries to then charge other batteries, other people's batteries, those who have not learned how to self-generate their own power or find their own power source. The power source is always within us because we're all connected to this grid of light, he's saying, but some of us are consciously doing this. And for those that are consciously able to consciously sustain our own light, and we have learned the way to do this, we are showing the way for others. We are leading the way for others. And he's saying this is a very, very important role, and not to underestimate this duty or service to the whole, essentially. As light workers, as grid workers, we are anchoring in this light and helping to connect this energy grid all over Mother Earth in key areas that need it. And he's referring to Australia, New Zealand, those areas that have the most restrictions and bans at this time to be free to move about, to be free to be authentic. There's a lot of focus, a lot of directed flow of energy through the grid going towards these areas, these regions that most need it, that most need to be powered. And because of the abundance of solar energy showing, if we're using that analogy that he was talking about as being solar panels, then we are connected to this grid. So even if we are not in Australia, us holding this light wherever we are on Mother Earth, on the planet, and growing this light in that space, we are connected so that it is going to expand outwards to these areas, and it's really serving to kind of self-generate. So he's showing that whatever energies are trying to bring these energies down, it just keeps rising back up. It just keeps rising back up because of this power grid and how we are all connected. So he is saying not to worry about the progress being made in terms of like world events and things we might be hearing and seeing on the news. He's saying don't believe everything you see or hear. The light is winning. The light is overpowering the shadow effect. So whatever they're doing in the shadows, he's saying, to attempt to pull you down, to pull the energy of this grid work down, is not being successful. Or he's saying is not maintaining. So it's like they'll put something out there that might drain the battery a little bit at first, but it's not consistently able to drain the battery because there's this outside power source coming in that is keeping it alive and causing it to kind of raise back up again to the level that they were not wanting it to be at. So they might drain it a little bit, and then it starts to slowly. It's like if you're watching this on a screen and you were seeing the light of something starting to get dim. It's like, oh, it's losing battery, it's losing power. And it might even hit like a low point where they're like, yes, it's hitting the low point. Then all of a sudden, after a little bit of time, they were like, wait, it's regenerating. The light's getting stronger, and we're not releasing. We drained it already. So how is it coming back again? That's kind of where they're at with it. Those who are in power, those who are attempting to take over. In this way, or to maintain control or power. So he's saying self-generating. He's referring to, this is really all about us being self-generators of our own power, understanding our own power to live in the moment, to essentially just be in alignment with where the energy is going and what the energy is asking us to do, and how the energy of the light is empowering us and serving us. So he's showing that you don't want to be too far from where the energy is. And where the energy is going in January, this month in particular, is it's steadily rising. So, and he's talking about manifestation is increasing, meaning there is a shorter lag time between what you are thinking about and then what you are going to see manifesting in your reality. It's just getting shorter and shorter. He's showing it like almost being like non-existent. It's almost getting to a point where there's immediate manifestation going on. And he's referring to many light workers who have cleared a lot of their karma, he's saying, who have cleared a lot of their energy blocks, are seeing instant manifestation. They're thinking about something, and then maybe in a week's time that energy has presented itself, or even a thought, a question you might ask in your mind, you're getting the answer immediately. The answer is just coming to you. So he's saying it's really about being an open doorway for information to flow into you. So I'm getting a sense of like all your circuits are turned on, and you've got open pathways for just divine flow of energy to come in and out. So you're just open to receiving, your receptors are open, and you're connecting the dots a lot faster than you would have in the past, which is a sign of integration, a sign of activation. He's showing the majority of light workers that might be watching this right now are mostly turned on. All your circuits are fully turned on, fully going. And now the time is to focus on helping others to do that. So even if you're not directly or intentionally going out there to try and help others do this in an intentional way, you are essentially helping others to do this by just connecting with others and connecting to the grid. But he is saying and showing that a lot of you are getting the call to do grid work, with working with crystals. He's saying creating hot spots. So hot spots, referring to energetic hot spots where you're essentially creating a hot spot. I'm trying to understand this concept, how he's describing it, but he's saying like a lot of energy coming into that one spot, powering up, and then essentially traveling through the ley lines he's showing to the areas that need it the most. So it's through your intention when you're doing the grid work to help activate, to have this grid work help. When you're doing your grid work, he's saying, sorry, it's coming in faster, I can interpret. When you're doing your grid work, when you're doing your intentional grid work, all you really need to do, he's saying, is set the intention to light up and activate, for this light to light up and activate and flow where it is most needed. So essentially you play the director of the flow of energy through your thoughts and intentions, and then through the ritual practice of this, let the crystals do the work, let the grid do the work, let the grid take over. That's all you really need to do to help Mother Earth at this time, so, and the collective at this time. So thanks for sharing that tidbit about how we can help. Yeah, so he's saying you're welcome. He's going back to January now to kind of elaborate more on the energy update, and I do feel like Morya would like to step in. Would you like to step in now? And he's saying yes. So I feel Morya stepping in a little bit more forwardly. And let's see what he would like to say. So he's saying, still a bumpy ride, still ups and downs, but smoother transitions moving forward because more light has been anchored, more light has been activated. So he's showing 2022 as being a smoother ride, generally speaking. And that's because he's saying you're not going to be so surprised anymore. The shock value of things has subsided. There's not a lot that can shock you at this point or scare you or shock you off of your seat. So that in and of itself is going to help allow for a smoother ride or transition into the shifts and changes that are coming. And really, it's more of the same. So without getting into too many specifics, because honestly, he's showing that you don't need to really concern yourself with what is going to change or predictions or things like that. Like, it's all about being in the moment. He's really emphasizing that. Like, that is the most important thing, right? At any time, at any given time, is being in the moment, being present, being aware, being in alignment, being joyful, staying true to your heart, letting your heart guide you, and not being distracted. So that he's showing is the greatest challenge at this time, is our distractions. And they're mostly self-created, he's saying. They're self-created because we have a choice what we give our attention to. So if we're choosing to give our attention to something that isn't energetically important in the moment, then that's our loss, he's saying, because joy is here. Joy is in this moment. Love is here. Love is in this moment. Love is everywhere. Of course, love is everywhere, he's showing. You can connect to love in every living thing by your choices, by how you choose to show your love to that living thing, by how you choose to give your love is how you shall receive your love. So, but you cannot give your love, he's saying, unless you are in the position to give it, unless you are in the moment to give. You cannot receive unless you are in the moment to receive. You must be open. He's showing when your mind is distracted by thoughts of the future or thoughts of the past or worries or concerns, you are not able to connect with your love. You are not able to connect or even be aware of what you are giving and what you are receiving. Or he's clarifying what's being taken from you. You are not aware of what's being taken from you because you're spending too much time in your mind. So be aware that energy is always, you are always giving off energy in some way or shape or form. But if you're not doing it consciously with your own choice, if it's not your choice who you're giving it and how you're giving it, meaning you're not setting your intention, you're just getting lost in the distractions of the mind, the thoughts of the mind, or the distractions of the things around you that are taking you away from here, he's saying, that are taking you out of this state of presence and alignment with your heart and your soul and your higher self, then you are essentially, energy is being lost and it's being siphoned, he's showing. Someone's taking energy from you. Someone's going to get that energy from you. You're giving it to someone. You just don't know who that person is, who's benefiting from that. You don't really know or have a sense of because you're not choosing that consciously. So he's really stressing that he wants us to be more conscious in who we give our energy to, what we give our energy to, and he's referring to your thoughts. And he's referring to lowering your vibration. So anything that takes you out of here and puts you too much up in here, thinking, where you find yourself in just kind of mind wandering, like he's showing like media devices or things that you might be watching that are just kind of like draining your battery. You're just watching them just to watch them. You're not necessarily getting any, you're not really aware of even what that information is giving you. It's siphoning your energy, he's showing. It's siphoning your energy. It's actually taking and draining your energy. And he's saying this is a time to become aware. He's saying this is an epidemic. This like he's showing like TikTok and all these like short videos that people get caught up in watching. I mean, I'm guilty of doing that myself, so I think he's using this as an example too, to kind of something that I can understand is just, you know, siphoning your energy, powering kind of the machine and draining your battery so that you don't have what you need to give back to yourself, back to Mother Nature, back to the collective. You're too caught up in kind of the distractions that they're putting in front of you, the imagery and all of these things, the videos that are just mindless entertainment for the most part. So not to say that there aren't some beneficial that you can't get information from the internet that is beneficial and going to help you attain higher states of consciousness or activate you in higher ways, but the majority of it is nonsense, he's saying. So set the device down, be in the present moment. And that's really the most important message he's wanting to share with us today, and how we can really tune to the energies. He's wanting us to tune to the energies to really find our center again, and learn how to stay balanced within that as we move throughout our day. Okay, so is there anything else you would like to share with us, Morya, on that? He's saying no. It feels like that is all that he wishes to share, but he keeps emphasizing mindless chatter. So being aware of when you're just when your thoughts are drifting into mindless chatter, when you're just getting this amount of energy coming in, and you find your thoughts doing a cycle on repeat, and there's no trajectory, there's no real point or established intention for those thoughts other than just thinking about it. Don't get lost in la la land, he's saying, because a lot of those thoughts are not yours. So be conscious of the thoughts that are coming from your higher self, your I am presence, and be conscious of the thoughts that are just kind of coming in from things you've seen, things you've heard about that aren't really relative to your process, your journey of awakening, which is really just coming into attunement with your higher self. So he's saying being the observer of your mind is what's going to, that practice is what's going to allow you to really see more clearly from a higher awareness which thoughts are yours, which thoughts are of a higher consciousness, of a higher source, he's saying, than what is coming in at a lower vibration, which is coming in at a vibration that causes fear, stress, worry, anxiety. Yeah. And he's showing a feeling of jitteriness and also feeling of being drained. So he's saying if you feel drained, it could be because you're entertaining too many distractions that are siphoning your energy and not allowing your higher self, or the lighter energies come through. So you're not as it's really hard to explain, but I'm feeling really peaceful right now because of his energy is so peaceful right now. So I'm kind of noticing that as I'm trying to stay with the message. It's just a feeling of being able to embody more light, that there is not a restriction of flow of energy, but these blocks, these lower vibrational thoughts and kind of mindless chatter really creates blocks in our energy systems to allow the higher guidance that wants to come in, or even sometimes it blocks us from being able to see how our guides are communicating with us, or how we are receiving information from our higher selves, or even what is true and what is false, as far as the thoughts we were having, what's in alignment, what's out of alignment. So he's just stressing the practice of that, and highlighting, if you want to go more into detail on what that really means or looks like. I did do a video with Lord Shiva about breaking free from the ego. And I also did a video with Melchizedek about how to tell the difference between when your intuition is talking versus when your ego is talking. So these are just practices of mindfulness, he's saying, that are very important during these heightened times of manifestation, when information is coming out at us fast and we are being asked to make quick decisions as to how we move forward, how we spend our time, and how we spend our energy is really what it's all about. So maintaining and sustaining and self-generating your own energy is really important. And he's referring back to the Pleiadians and the message that they shared with us about that, and why that's so, as to being why that's so important in these times, is because we are essentially powering the battery and the generator for everybody right now. We're holding the space for all to wake up, and it is going to take time. So we're going to have some stamina, he's saying, to do this, and that's going to require greater amounts of us being able to stay within the present moment, and be guided by our intuition, be guided by our higher selves and our divine teams, and be present with the guidance that's coming forward. So I do feel him stepping away and coming to a close. I feel like that was a little bit more of just an energy update, but kind of a nice spiritual lesson for us, and a reminder for us on what it really means to stay in alignment, to embody the light, to be the I am, and to bring forward our source creative powers of manifestation in a way that helps the collective raise their vibration as well. So thank you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that video. Please be sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel, and to hit the notification bell for future notifications of when I do release new content. Hope you all have a great month of January, and we'll see you soon. Bye.